All right. All right. We are live. We are back with another live feed reads. I think this is episode 54, I do believe. Just counting them up. Here we are, 2026. Can you believe that it is May? Right?
Where's this year going?
Bro, I start to think that, it doesn't seem like that when you're younger. Maybe it still seems like time flies by. But as I start to get a little older, a little gray hair in the beard, I'm like, I wake up one day and it's January 2025. And then it's 2026 and it's May. And I'm just like, what? What is going on?
And it still hasn't rained.
Oh, my word. Yeah. We got some rain up here in Tallahassee.
We had this entire year, I feel like it's rained 4 days.
Yeah,
crazy.
It has been very dry, though. It has been.
You can just tell everything is browning and people flying into Florida. Like, where's the green?
Even some of my plants that are pretty hardy out here are, they're like tipped over sideways, yellow, like sprawled out, begging for water. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, you're with us today. And thanks for doing that. Keeps us consistent. We're missing Paul. He announced
he's laid up on a couch. He just had surgery.
He's doing this or this? Yeah.
I don't know if he can with the army has the surgery on.
Yeah, I texted him.
The shoulder.
Anyways. I texted him, and I could see the little ellipsis, like I'm waiting back for a reply. And then he calls me, and he goes, "I can't do this. I can't. I got one hand. I can't do this." I was like,
I think my sister flew in town. She's visiting with him, helping the baby.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. He needs somebody over there. That house is too big for a man with one arm.
Oh yeah.
Sorry about the cough. I have whatever's been going around got me. And it refuses to kind of let go. I've kicked it, I think, feeling better. But man, oh man, it does not want to let go for the life of me. So, all right. Well,
I hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, all right. Over there at the law office of Reed and Reed, what do you guys have going on, man? What's new?
Nothing much. I was meeting with my Bank of Tampa friend, Terry, this morning over at Buckhorn. He treated me to an early morning round. After that, came back to the office to knock out some things that need to be done before the weekend. And what do we got going on? I think me and Jackie, we bought the 3-day, Disney does the 3-day pass for like $250 you can get. And so we did the first day, we did Epcot with our friends who were in town from Oregon and their children on their spring break. And we brought, did we bring Olivia? Yeah, we had Olivia. So we brought Olivia to that.
Cool.
And then the second day we did at Magic Kingdom with my other buddy who lives in Carrollwood, Brent, and he has 2 young children, so we did even younger. So we did Magic Kingdom, and we're like, well, what the heck are we gonna do with this third day? So we're like, got nothing going on tomorrow. Let's go and do Tower of Terror.
That's good.
At Hollywood Studios.
And chances are it won't rain you out.
Chances are high.
All right. What about, you've had some community events recently. Let's do like a follow-up. How did those go? You guys sponsored a meat festival? Is that what?
Oh, yeah, National Meat Day. They partnered with another charity that also throws big barbecue competitions. And so this year the setup was much better. Every year they get, they work out more kinks, and it was, they had a really good live music, and the food was amazing. I think this is their 4th or 5th year doing it, and they raised this year $110,000 for the charity.
Wow, that is cool. That's cool. Meat eaters.
Yep. So that's really good. And he was a young guy. He's my sister's age, so about 25 years old, and started when he was about 21 or 22. So he's done really well.
That's great.
That's
great. I know. I'm not sure a tofu festival would bring the same draw, but that sounds absolutely epic. The barbecue.
Yeah, it turns out one of my clients, Eddie, he just so happened to be at the tent next to ours, and we ran into each other there. And he cooked 4 or 5 different dishes that were just amazing. The brisket was phenomenal. So I got to hang out with one of my clients all day. So that was nice.
That's great. That's awesome. Paul was telling me a while back that you had some very interesting detective work that you had to do on a particular case that you were working on. Man, I'm trying to remember the details of it. He sort of mentioned it. and it was a matter of kind of doing due diligence. Oh man,
I'm not
I'm
sure if that rings a bell with what they were trying to
I'm
do.
drawing a blank on. Oh man, what was it? I had it, and then like maybe it's the post sick brain just fogged it up. But uh, anyway, I was going to ask a follow up of like how your cases are going. You guys get a lot of
Yeah,
weird stuff.
I honestly I don't know what, but yeah, we sometimes you do gotta get your private investigator hat on and track people down that are trying to evade, getting service of process served on them, and or tracking down insurance information that they don't want to
Mm-hmm.
provide. So it can be tricky, but usually we end up
That's
successful.
good.
Sometimes it just takes a little longer than others.
Yeah, we had recently covered how some of the questions that you guys have to ask, the insurance people will ask these too, and they're like, does anyone else in the house live with you? Is there anyone else on your insurance? And they'll hit you with that null and void moment, or clause the moment that you reveal to them something that wasn't disclosed. And so doing those due diligence things are huge. There was one case he was talking about in particular that you guys, I guess, recently ran into, but anyway, it's not like a super big deal. I was just trying to check in and see how
Yeah,
things are going.
yeah. I mean, all's green on the Western Front, so
That's
to
good.
speak. There's nothing really, no major problems that we've had to run into. We've had a lot of success getting insurance companies to pay the full amount for our client's property damage. Oftentimes they try to nickel and dime and say, oh, well, your client could have turned last minute and we think they're 25% at fault. And like, no, fix their damn car. It gets tedious, but part of the game.
It blows my mind. So I walked by the kind of learning moment this morning when the kid's homeschooling with mom, and she's reading through this different things about piracy from the 1600s up, and I was like, I started to chime in. Oh, let me tell you about some of the pirates and how, and apparently there was a letter of a marque that they could get where they could essentially go and perform piracy, acts of piracy, sanctioned, And I was like, well, we're not in boats and ships today, but there's a lot of modern day piracy still happening. Permission to grift and take money from you. And it's like, well, if it wasn't legal, we wouldn't be able to do it. And I'm like, man, there's so
Yeah.
many technicalities and moments in which things get caught. And I'm like, that it's almost like you need a good lawyer to protect you against some of this stuff. And I don't want to.
Isn't that what the East India Company was? Just a sanctioned corporation of
Yeah,
pirates?
yeah. It's so funny. And I'm like, well, that's kind of like, I often talk about you guys. I'm like, Uncle Paul and Uncle Ryan, this is kind of the stuff they get involved in because it exists today, but it's just a little different form, They're always trying to go, we don't know where that is, or we don't know if we can help you right now, technically. And I'm like, nah, man. Doing the right thing sometimes just takes somebody who like just knows the lay of it and can come in and like
Yep.
put it together. And
The same thing for IT. People that are
yes,
IT specialists, they know the lay of the land as far as programs and
oh yeah,
computers and all that kind of stuff that is Latin to me. So it's like, second nature to some of these people to come in and fix whatever problem you have going on in your network that I wouldn't even know where to start.
absolutely,
And it's the same thing with the law. It's just you just know the channels to swim through and the protocols and procedures, just like any other job.
absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of the digital frontier, there's a lot that is happening in Florida in particular, but also just in general in the big picture with AI and on the digital frontier. And there are a lot of people kind of blaming AI for a lot of stuff that you and I might look at it in a layman's term and look at it and go, well, common sense should have told you not to do that. But ChatGPT told me to do it. And I'm wondering, Ryan, if there's not a very near future in which attorneys are, looking at personal injury or negligence cases against some of these AI companies. I mean, obviously, there's already some lawsuits been filed and in question, but if we're just postulating and thinking on a macro level trends, nothing very super specific or tied to the specific case, where do you think some of that is going? Do you think there's a AI lawyer industry coming? Like a full segment of personal injury
Yeah,
AI
I
lawyer?
mean, clearly, there is, as far as when it comes to drafting and researching, as long as the person is savvy enough to know how to prompt correctly and has critical thinking capabilities and can proofread, they can do a lot. I think the area that lawyers are going to still remain, however, will be the actual arguments before the court. Just because you have a motion, it still has to be argued and heard, and decisions made by the judge. Trials still have to be conducted by a person. At least now, maybe someday they have a robot that does it all. Maybe 30 years down the line, there are complete AI robots that do everything, and at which point I think we'll all have bigger fish to fry.
That's it.
But no, it does take, a lot of the stuff can be done. I mean, obviously companies like LegalZoom, they took a big chunk out of your standard wills and trust type lawyers that got paid money to draft these documents. Now all of a sudden you can have a template online and it's something. Now, of course, obviously I would never use that or recommend that to anyone, but people choose that option. Same thing with the law. If you can, here, draft me up a small claim suit. This guy hasn't paid me for $1,000. Maybe beforehand you went to the lawyer to do that. Now you just figure out how to do it yourself. I mean, it all still takes time, and just like every profession oftentimes is like, could I learn how to do it? Could I take the time to do it? I don't want to do it. That goes for everything.
I think
building a website, mowing the lawn, plumbing your toilet. It's like, could you do all these things? Sure, but you don't have the 30 years of experience. You don't know how to do it efficiently. And can you do it? Yeah, but I think the profession still going to exist for people that just don't want to be bothered.
That's an interesting response. Not exactly what I was asking about, but I see what you're saying, and I fully agree with you that the human element isn't really going to be erased, but some of the work may be able to be made more efficient. No, but what I was getting at was there are some of these instances in which people are blaming the AI chats for the harm that they've kind of done to themselves or they have incurred as a result of taking the advice of some of them or things like that.
Yeah, I don't like that. That to me, it's the same like blaming the bartender for getting drunk and going out and killing somebody. It's like, you made these decisions. You decided to engage with this AI. You didn't take the time to, understand that it could potentially not be giving you good advice or be harmful to you. To me, that's just personal responsibility. Now, does that mean that lawyers out there aren't going to sue these companies that are, try to get money out of them? Sure. I mean, we talked about that one case with the kid who committed suicide, and I researched a little bit into it. It seems, pretty kind of clear, if you will, that the AI did start helping to suggest this child does commit suicide. So there is that. So I don't know. I guess things are just going to play out. We're in a brave new world, and I think there is probably going to be some liability on these companies for allowing these sorts of things. But I mean, now these AIs are creating their own language and talking to each other and creating their own code. And I saw one article where there's a company that basically is the movie was. Well, obviously, The Matrix is the big one, but there was another one, Surrogates. It's like you could basically, AIs are hiring surrogate humans to go perform tasks in the real world on behalf of the AI at the AI impetus. I mean, it's pretty insane.
Well,
I don't know if it can be stopped or what there is to do, but I guess everything changes.
It's interesting because there's this level at which you Google something and then Google spits you an AI search result to it, or you ask it a question and it gives you a snippet, but not the whole context or something like a human would hopefully think to do and kind of read the whole thing before they jump to a conclusion. But it seems like AI is also kind of doing that or programmed to kind of lean into that. So I'm wondering if we don't end up in a place where you would think it's common sense that if you smoke cigarettes and you get lung cancer, that's kind of a choice that you made. And yet we found companies like that liable, and we put labeled warnings on things and packages. And so we went this whole other route. I'm just wondering if we're going to end up in some sort of, are warning labels required to be everywhere, or else you're held to be negligent, or, and there's some sort of penalties and, what are they called? Damages that stand to be awarded for.
Well, that's all playing out kind of in real time. So I'm learning right there with everyone else when you read the articles online or I was gonna say the newspaper, but online.
It is wild. It is wild to watch all of this unfolding. Sometimes I wonder how we made it this far.
Well, there's a really interesting theories that, like, if you get into like the time travel stuff, and the idea being that where the AI is already in existence, using us to create itself into the future, type of a scenario.
Yeah, something like that was in the Terminator like series, I think. Yeah, it's
yeah. Did we learn anything from James Cameron?
Yeah. I'm sure that they're responsible for redoing Berenstain Bears. I could have sworn it was spelled differently.
Oh yeah, the Mandela stuff is pretty wild.
Oh man. All right.
But on that note, let me get back to it and trying to plug as much as I can before I get to this lovely Disney Fest.
Do that. All right. Well, and I don't have anything super fancy. I think my kids are going to some sort of musical, and we'll let them go do that. And then I've got to finish up. We've got lawsuits that we're trying to review and things over here, so it's just been
I'm gonna read that in the car.
Crazy. Yeah, I appreciate that. All right, man.
We'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, maybe so. All right, I'll take us out of here. Anything last you want to say before we bounce?
No. Have a great weekend, everybody. If you need us, give us a call.
Right on.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer in the family.